Extinction, the proper zomboid experience, where some of the hungry bozos forgot what game they're in and decided to cosplay as Dying Light virals. They also love breaking and entering while causing more noise than your grandmother's tea kettle. To make matters worse, they all possess super strength, thick skulls and super senses. But that alone wouldn't make the game too bad. After all, most Project Zomboid players have higher IQ than a bunch of smelly fellas, even if not the right physique for running away from those. No, Extinction plays dirty, spawning the alcoholics right in your front yard, usually having a direct line of sight to you from the very beginning. Remember the super strength part? Yeah, they'll break your windows in a couple of seconds. It isn't rare that you get hit with a horde within 10 seconds of spawning in. Before we start, I'd like to ask you to subscribe to the channel. The goal is still to get 300 subs before August and the clock is ticking. Alright, let's get into the video. Firstly, let's quickly go over the traits. You do not want anything that nerfs your mobility. Avoid fitness nerfs, fast metabolism, American Simulator, and anything that lowers your strength. For a good build, you probably want to have at least above average strength and fitness. Now, for the occupation, I unironically think Burglar is an S tier pick. If you're wondering why, well, it is borderline impossible to not level up your light-footed and sneaking on day one, unless you're either very lucky or you don't crouch at all. With +2 starting points for each, you can be a Skyrim stealth archer before week 2. Nimble is also very useful for fighting sprinters, and hot wiring will be more important than ever, given that the access to cars is extremely limited on this difficulty. Here's the build I'd recommend, though you can swap some traits around. Specifically Clumsy, which might lead you to prematurely meeting your Lord and Savior. Adrenaline Junkie is usually kind of garbage, but for Extinction it is genuinely viable, as your character will spend most of their early days crying for their mama. Unless you're playing veteran, I guess. Okay, so let's get into the actual gameplay. Here it goes. Okay, so that was quite intense to say the least. If you don't recognize the area, that's because this is actually Louisville. I wanted to show you the most extreme start I could think of, and it doesn't really get worse than the most populated town in the game, does it? So what just happened? First of all, I know that I've been spotted through the front door, so it's probably good to leave through the back. Unfortunately, there's a zombie there as well, and I might not have enough time to wait for him to move. So I commit to a risky and bold maneuver of jumping through the just now broken window in the front. It might not be the best idea, but you need to think quickly, and even if your plan isn't perfect, you need to commit to it. Running through the zombies is a bit difficult, especially with the lag, but I manage. A lot of fence usage, as you can see. It's key when escaping, as you cannot ever win a chase without some obstacles helping you. You'll get tired, unlike the paparazzi. I see some clear space and I run in that direction, away from the house alarms. Entering a house to get some bandages and maybe loot is a fine idea, but I have to leave almost immediately as both the door and the window are under attack. I climb through the moment the visitor tries to get me. I tried to run away from the houses, but there's a lot of passerbys in this area, so I have to run. Again. And there's zombies in the forest as well. I vault the tall fence to escape and fall right into a bunch of lurkers and a sprinter. When I run out of stamina, I know that I need to outsmart my adversary, so I enter a house and instantly go upstairs. If the room was occupied, I'd have to push the zombie over and stand on it, but unfortunately it was empty. I catch my breath, but the Zeds are near, so I jump through the window just as my pursuers start bashing the door. And I'm fine. I escape with my life. So, summarizing. You want to run away from your starting house and ongoing alarms, taking multiple turns and utilizing fences. Remember, keep your cool. After a bit of Kyle Crane cosplay, you can try to get some loot from a nearby house, but you can't let your guard down until you get to less populated areas, or even countryside. Though, I wouldn't recommend the latter unless you somehow got a car. Escaping is your main priority, so just run. Just run. And try to get away from the initial sprinters that will surround your house. Now it might be that you get a better start and you can actually loot your starter house rather than immediately running away. Or maybe you don't spawn in Louisville, which by the way is only possible with mods, so I'm pretty sure you won't spawn in Louisville, and then you don't really have to run in many cases. Maybe you can just kill the zombies that are nearby and take it slowly, like Apocalypse. But basically with added sprinters and a little bit higher difficulty when it comes to loot and zombie toughness. Definitely manageable if you've played the game before. And if you haven't, you shouldn't be playing Extinction, mate. Well, that's it for the video. I'll remind you again, we're aiming for 300 subs by the end of the month, so like and subscribe to meet the quota. Methinks the next video will probably be the occupations tier list for Extinction, as many things change for this difficulty. Anyway, see you in the next one. Have a great day.